During last class, we learned about significant digits. We learned how to count for significant digits. We learned what are significant and what are insignificant. We even learned how to, in an ambiguous case, how do we report a number of a certain desired significant digit using scientific notations. So today, we're going to look into this a little further by looking into mathematical operation. So let's start with adding and subtracting. Okay? What would you do if you're asked to add two numbers or subtract two numbers based on what am I expecting your answer to be reported in? So let's take a look at the first question. So I have right here 1.34 gram plus 2.7 gram. Okay, so I'm adding 2 grams, and you're allowed to add 2 grams. If somebody were to give you 1.34 grams plus 2.7 liters, you would say you are out of your mind. You can't add two measurements. That makes no sense. Hey, but you can times them and divide them though. Okay, if you're multiplying and dividing, you can actually multiply and divide different units. No problem. But not when you're adding and subtracting. Because think about it, if you're giving something that has a mass and you're adding something that has volume, how does that make sense? Anyway, we'll learn more about that later on when we look at matter. So when you're adding and subtracting a mathematical operation, how are you going to report your answer? Well, let's do the answer first. We all know this is going to be 4, 0, and 4. Whew. Hope I didn't make that mistake. So the answer is 4.04, right? The answer is no. You will not report 4.04. Okay, if you report 4.04, you're going to be wrong. And there's going to be some marks taken off. Okay, for operation involving addition and subtraction, you report, okay, the lower, or let's not say lower, the less decimal place. Report the less decimal place. Now, what does that mean? Report the less decimal place. Never heard that in my life. So take a look at the first number, 1.34. Okay, there's 2 decimal place. Okay, or decimal value. 2.7, you have 1 decimal value. Well, 2 versus 1, who wins? Because I want to report the one that has less. Well, it looks like 1 wins, right? So what that means is that you're going to report 1 decimal place because 1 is better than 2. So what that means is that your answer is not 4.04. No. It's just going to be 4.0. That 4 will be insignificant. Talking about this 4. Okay? So when you add 2 value, remember you always report the less of the 2 decimal place. So in this case, 1.34 has 2 decimal place. 2.7 has 1 decimal place. So you want to report your answer to 1 decimal place. All right? Simple? Let's do another one. Let's see, 1.757 minus 0.11. What would that be? Well, let's do the math first. Okay, that would be 7, this would be 6, 6, and 1. Okay, is my answer going to be 1.667? Well, let's see. This number has 3 decimal points. This number has 2 decimal places. 3 versus 2. Who wins? Well, let's see. The less one wins, right? So 2 wins. So I want to report my answer in 2 decimal place. So my answer is going to be 1.667. 6, not 6, because you're going to have to round this off, so it will be 1.67. Oh, I should really put measurements here, so we're talking about grams, okay? Talking about grams. So that's your answer. So whenever you're adding and subtracting, make sure you know to report the lesser of the decimal place value. All right. All right. Let's take a look at multiplying us and dividing. Okay. What do you do when you're multiplying and dividing? Well, it's very simple. Report the smaller or lesser. Let's say the lesser significant digits. Okay, let's do an example. So I have 22.4, and I'm going to multiply that by 1.2. So let's say 22.4 grams divided by 1.2 milliliters. Okay, no big deal. When you're multiplying two numbers, they don't have to have the same unit because you're multiplying them. So if you were to punch this in your calculator, because I know you will get 26.88 grams milliliter. Okay? But are you going to report 26.88? That's the question. Well, let's take a look at what the rule says. The rule says report the lesser significant digits. Notice not the lesser decimal. Don't mix it up with addition and subtraction. It's the lesser significant digits. So you take a look at the two numbers. This number right here, 22.4. There's 3 significant digits here. Look at this number, 1.2. There's 2 significant digits here. Who wins? Well, the one that is lesser is going to win, right? So 2 beats out 3. So your answer should be reported to 2 significant digits. Not 2 decimal places. No. 2 significant digits. So somehow I'm going to have to turn this number into 2 significant digits. So do you remember how? That's right. Scientific notation. I'm going to move this decimal over here to make it 2.688 times 10 to the power, well, I moved it 1 space to the left, so that will be 1 grams milliliter. Okay. Once I put it into scientific notation, now I can report my lesser significant digits. I want 2, right? No problem. 2.7. There's my 2. Times 10 to the power of 1. Okay. Hopefully that's simple enough. Let's do one more. 4.23 grams divided by 0.058 milliliter. This is actually a density question. This is how you find density. Okay? Mass divided by volume. Let's count significant digits first. So there's 3 significant digits here. There's 2 significant digits here. Remember, these guys don't count because there's zeros to the left of significant digits, like we said yesterday. Well, hey, 3 versus 2, 2 wins. You punch this number into your calculator, you should get 7,293. Okay? Grams per milliliter. Well, are you going to report this number? No, of course not. I'm going to report the lesser of the significant digit, which is 2. So I'm going to move my decimal place to 7.293 times 10 to the power of, well, since I moved it 1, 2, 3 to the left, that's going to be 3 grams per milliliter. since I want to report 2, because that's what it says right here, this is going to be 7.3 times 10 to the power of 3 grams per milliliter. And that's my final answer. Okay. So that's how you multiply and divide two numbers in terms of what I want your reporting answer to be. So you have to think, all right, no, I can't just put up a random number now. Can't just write exactly what's on my calculator. I have to think, what is what we call reasonable reporting answer? So for addition and subtraction, it is based on the less decimal place. If it's based on multiplication and division, it's dependent on the less significant digits. Well, I have one more mathematical operation to teach you guys right today. And it is something that you will use a lot in chemistry. And this is a mathematical function called log. Okay, you can find that in your calculator. The log is something known as a base 10 type of thingy, which your math teacher will teach you. All right, no problem. Okay, so how do we report answers from a mathematical function? Same thing. Okay, you report the same significant digits. Let's do that. One more examples for today, okay? So what is the answer for a log base of 0.452? Okay, so if you were to punch this into your calculator, you just punch this, press that number log, and then 0.452, and then equal. Or for some cheesy calculator, you may have to put 0.452 and then press log. Well, either way, you will get negative 0.3448, da 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 da. Well, you're not going to write that down, are you? Your teacher's not interested in some of the numbers. He's only interested in how many numbers? Well, it says right here, you report the same significant digits. So in this case, this number, how many digits are significant? Whoa, I can see 3. So what does that mean? I'm just going to report 3. What's my final answer then? My final answer is going to be negative 0.345. That's it. Okay? So when you're logging a number, you have to report the same significant digit as what you got in your question. Okay, the reason why we looked at log is because you're gonna use this a lot later on when we calculate something called pH of a solution. Anyway, again, I have some more questions for you to do just to get you to practice on adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, logging. So let's work on that. All right, bye.